think I'm the only one. I can't get back to myself after all that I've done.
really is. Hope you all are doing well. Welcome to Flow Tricks. This is Ken. This is an impromptu spin, meaning I had some spare time and I thought, hey man, I should just hit record. I was gonna make a Flow Tricks video, but then I was like, I haven't done a live stream in a while, so I thought it'd be kind of cool to invite my YouTubers and my Facebookers all together to see if you guys have any questions. A lot's happened since the last live stream. You know, we were doing it every weekend. But all in all, I do want to say happy 2021. If I haven't talked to you at all this year, if you haven't seen the last video, I hope it's great. Like I hope you guys are getting everything kind of settled in and we can say goodbye to 2020. Bam, gone. So this is a live stream. This is for you all. This is if you have any questions or if you have any thoughts and you just happen to be by, stop on in, ask me whatever you want. This is for you all. So that's really all I wanted to do. And then I figured if no one had any questions, since this is impromptu and I'm just totally just jumping into there, if there's no questions at all, it can be about nunchucks, double nunchucks, performance, staff, double staff, I don't know, whatever, poi, martial arts, combat, being a YouTuber, all kinds of things. Like I can answer all kinds of things. Video games, yeah. Whatever you want to ask is fair game. So just feel free. I do have the YouTube comments up there, so I'm able to see those quicker, but I also have Facebook up as well. Outside of that, if I don't have any questions, I'm going to keep jamming out. If you do have questions, that's why I'm here. I'll probably be here for at least 20 minutes, maybe longer. It just depends on how much engagement we have or, you know, how much people are biting here. I do know this is just straight out of the blue, so it's all good. I do see some people, though. I want to give some shout outs. Sorry, my camera is all the way over here, and then my computer's all the way over here, so when I disappear, it's because I'm reading my computer. So I want to say hi to Tabitha. Hey, Ninja Bacon, what's up? And Paul. All right. There we go. Welcome, welcome, welcome. I'm going to... Oh, you know what? Hold on one second here. I wonder, this may be kind of crazy. I probably can't. I'm going to try to add my other camera really quick, so give me a second while you don't see me. Man, I hope you guys are doing well, though. It's been one heck of a year last year. Let's see. Nope, I don't have my camera. Okay, so I don't quite have that yet. I don't have my other camera set up. This is my microphone, by the way. Thank you. So when I read, you're gonna just kind of see me off to the side. Tabitha says awesome. You know what? Give me a second. See, I'm totally unprepared here. This was truly a spur-of-the-moment thing. Let me just... Whoa. You guys disappeared on me. Let me go to the screen capture. Where is the video? Sorry, I really want to get the secondary screen to come up, but it looks like for some reason I'm having a driver issue. Because it's totally plugged in, but it's not coming up. Let me just replug it back in real quick and see if we can resurrect it. Give me one more minute, y'all. Wait. Ooh, there we are. You can see my messy place. Whoa, give me just a second while I get, we're gonna be a little trippy here. All right. And we'll get this adjusted a little bit. This is my warehouse event area. There. Now I can like see the questions and whatnot. Thought that would be kind of nice to do. So Tabitha says awesome. Ninja Bacon, what's up? Brandon, killing it. I got Paul. Can you put some of the music titles in the descriptions, possibly? Yeah, in future videos I could definitely do that. A lot of times they're royalty-free videos that I get, so that way YouTube doesn't strike me too hard for it. And then for live streams, I'm not able to put the title just because it's just randomly played on Spotify. I'm not sure how to pull that through yet. Oh yeah, hey, what's up? Wow, that's a long one. Smurd, Pirates, Dangerous, Raggy. I'm sorry, I'm gonna butcher that. But welcome. What's up? You are in. V from Cyberpunk is asking me a question. That's pretty cool. Maybe a mad question, but have you ever had to use your nunchuck in self-defense? No, I haven't. And, I haven't really had a lot of fights, to be honest. I did train martial arts for 12 years, but I've never really had to use it. I did when I was in junior high. I kicked a kid in the head once when he was being the bully, but outside of that, I haven't actually had any altercations. That's not to say I don't have nunchucks, but, in terms of combat or self-defense, I also have knives and machetes and all kinds of other things kind of neat around. And if I were to pick up something first, it would probably be a knife over a nunchuck. That's a whole nother ballpark. I just feel like a knife is more protective because you don't have to there's a long story, but I feel more comfortable using a knife. I think in my martial arts I train more with knives in a self-defense type of thing as opposed to like a flurry of awesomeness. So as presentation, I love nunchucks, but when it comes to self-defense, I like knives and sticks. Yep. Let's see. Tannen says, I just finished your tutorial series. What video should I start to learn from next? And this is always the question. And I actually was just talking to Dark Monk, the guy that made these chucks, all the practice chucks that everyone buys. I talked to Dark Monk. We've been talking about this same issue too, which is the fact that we don't really have a lot of videos that take you from point A to A to Z. And one of the big problems of any artistic skill is the fact that people learn at different rates, and some people learn things faster in certain areas than others. So it's really hard to say where to go next unless I see where you're at. My answer to that has been doing the group Zoom classes on my Patreon page, just being able to watch people or doing private lessons. Because then I can watch the users, watch you guys actually spin, and I'm able to contribute exactly where you could go next. Another thing we can do too, which is something I've offered before, is I know Patreon's more donation based, it keeps us supported, but even if you just want to send me an email, as long as you don't mind that I share it with the YouTube community, just send me an email, kenhillfire@gmail.com, KenHillFire@gmail.com. And then in a future video, we'll go over it, and I can show you some things. In those types of cases, I think it's nice because anyone that's in your boat will also be able to benefit from it. But in most cases, if you don't want to do any of that, this is a big topic. I'm gonna turn this off for a second so we can move over here. The big thing to realize is when you don't know what to do next, first think about what you know. And then see if you can chain all the moves you know together. You should eventually be able to chain all of them together. So if you can do a figure 8 wrist roll, for instance, right? And if you can do an X catch, how do you get those to work together? So some of this is going to take some detective work, because if you're not sure how to do that, well, I can tell you how to do that. But for instance, if you can do the figure 8 wrist roll off to the side, your X catch would happen right here, where you could just grab it. So it would happen up in the front. But the goal for you to do, what I'd like you to do, is think of all the moves you know and make sure you can do it all in some sort of flow or combo. If you're not able to do that, then start working on building bridges. Basically, I'm teaching you how to teach yourself. Because once you learn the technique, the next thing to do is to combine them all together, and then later it goes further than that. Once you do that, then the next thing to do is, well, what do you learn next? Start with self-exploration first. See what you can pick up on your own before you watch any more videos. I think it's really important to have your own style, to come up with your own techniques. If you follow my videos, that's perfectly fine as well. It's going to be kind of tricky to tell you which one to watch next because it depends on what your flavor is. If it's throws, for instance, see if you can learn how to do this throw. See, I don't know what you know yet, but if you don't know the front to front throw, that's a fantastic throw to start with. But some people like to start with with digit rolls like this. And in that case, I would say learn the horizontal pointer finger digit roll, which is where you learn to stick your finger up. That would probably be one of the first rolls that I think you should teach or you should learn. So a horizontal finger digit roll if you want to go to rolls. If you want to go to throws, a front to front throw. The thing is there's a lot of different topics that we could cover, and without being able to see where you are, that may be too advanced or that may even be too simple. I just don't know where exactly you are. If you're just going through over the shoulder passes, see if you can get your over the shoulder passes to the neck pass, back to an over the shoulder pass. So again, what we're doing is just trying to tie everything together. So again, without seeing where you are, it's really difficult for me to recommend where to go next, but you can do some self-evaluation, or you can find a teacher like myself or someone else, you can find a teacher who will also be happy to help you. Sometimes it's good just to have someone that knows, kind of has an overview so they can see where you're at and just feed you the next step, because, that's super helpful too. All right, hopefully that helps. I know it's kind of a long-winded question, but it's a big question. Where do you go next is a very big question. The cool news is you can go a lot of cool places. There's a lot of places you can take it. Hopefully that helps. All right. So Chris says, thanks for the inspiration over the years. Yeah, no, you're welcome. Happy to help, man. What has it been, like 10, 11 years now? We've been doing this a long time. Jack, Ken, I just finished reading your article about age and training. Are you actually 43? I don't believe you. Yes, I am. My mom is in her 60s and she looks like she's in her 40s, so I'm sure I get it from my mom. Or it could just be spinning nunchucks. Who knows? Maybe the secret is spin nunchucks for 10 years and your age just starts to go down. But on the other hand, I don't think that's completely true, because while I may look young on the outside, my insides definitely feel it. So we have that. All right. I got another message here. Yeah, I am 43. Peace. I'm practicing my wrist rolls. Are wrist rolls supposed to be consecutive? Are you supposed to do wrist roll, spin, wrist roll? Yes, they can be. It depends on what wrist roll you're doing. Let's go ahead and go over that and take a look here and see. The basics of wrist rolls, you have 4 of them. And it's really easy. The names for these wrist rolls are super easy. You're either in a front grip or you're in a back grip. And the 4 rolls just go through those grips, all 4 of them. And you may think, well, there's only 2 grips. How can you have 4 of them? Easy. First, you're in a front grip and you go to a back grip, right? That's usually the first one you learn, is the front to back grip. And then the second one you usually learn is the back to front grip. Can these be used consecutively? Not if you're just using one hand, because the moment you do one, in order to continue, you have to go the opposite way. So front to back, back to front, like this. You can do like a front to back roll here, and then you can catch it on the other hand, and then do a back to front. And this could go on forever. Then you catch it in a front grip, front to back, catch it in a back grip with the other hand, back to front. This will allow you to go forever as well, but you won't be able to continue this because there's 2 more rolls that allow you to go forever. Those are the first 2 rolls, and those are the easiest. The next one is the back-to-back roll. Quite simple, right? You start in a back grip, you spin it, and you end in a back grip. That's all it means. So a back-to-back roll is going to be where the nunchuck rolls across the back of your wrist like this, and as it starts to come up, it's going to come up where the pinky finger's at, right here. That's how you do it. I don't know if you've worked on this roll or not, but that's the easiest way to learn, that I've learned how to do it. So if you're trying to learn this roll, one, you can kind of raise your grip a little bit, so don't grab so close to the rope, kind of like push it up a little bit, and then use your other hand and just really push it across your hand like this, and see if you can kind of get the nunchuck to almost come up the side of the wrist. And then once it's up there, use this other hand, flick it up, and then just kind of push this over into your hand. That's the dynamics of that roll. But you can do this without having to actually do the roll yet. So get in this assumed position like this, get ready, pop it up, and grab it again. Move it over, pop it up, and grab it. And that's the easiest way to describe how to do this roll. And that roll in fast motion looks like this. This is an infinite one. You can keep going with it. Whoops. So this is an infinite one. You can keep going with it. The trick again is to get underneath the wrist, have it come up towards the pinky finger, like the fleshy part right there, and then you kind of flick it out. What you also can do, if you're not feeling it's hitting right, is to kind of guide my hand. I don't know if you see, but I use my pointer finger and my middle finger to hold onto the chuck like this, and it kind of pushes it out. And that kind of, to me, that kind of gives it more of a, you can kind of see how like once I get to this point, I'm pushing it up as the other side comes in. So the next part that you can do if you want to, just kind of swing it back and forth, and then the moment it starts to go towards your pinky finger, flick this up and then grab the other side. This is another way you can kind of train and get used to it. And then of course the last roll is the front, which I'll only go over briefly. I'm assuming, because it's the hardest, so if you don't know the back-to-back, start working on that one. And the front to front is the similar motion except for it's a front grip to a front grip. And the way this one works is going to be, it's almost like you're waving high, or you're taking your thumb and you're twisting the screw into the wall. It's very vertical. You're staying on the vertical plane. So see how my nunchuck spins this way? It's staying on that plane. What it does is it rolls across. This does a lot of rolling, so we're going to grab a little bit lower. It rolls across the bottom of your wrist like this. That's going to be the first part. But then it comes across the top of the back of your hand over here, and it rolls all the way into your palm. So again, when we're spinning it this way, kind of open up your hand, bend it like this, so it's bended 90 degrees, boom, and then this is going to go across the bottom of your wrist, going to roll over to the top behind you, and then it's going to catch itself over here. So it's going a long direction. Just basically if you're going to high-five someone, right? Going to high-five someone, you can kind of see it's going to go across the bottom of the wrist, across the top, and then through between where the pointer finger and the thumb, it's just going to go right into that point and you catch it. Without the chuck, it looks like this. It really does look like that. It doesn't look like anything spectacular. But with the chuck, it looks like this. Without the rotor spin. That was just an added flourish I wanted to throw at you. Oh wow, we do have some people asking questions. That's fantastic. All right, so let's keep going here. I hope you guys enjoy this little impromptu nunchuck thing too. I had some spare time today, and I really wanted to. I just thought it'd be kind of cool to chat with you all. All right. Oh, Pradma says, "Hey brother, I'm from Sri Lanka. It's 7:30 a.m. Good morning. I love your channel and your talent, bro. Good luck." Thank you. I appreciate that. Give me just a second here. I can't seem to find the light is bright. There we go. I can say this, like when you're live streaming, it's crazy because you always have these bright lights shining in your face, and you're just like spinning, and you're just like with the sound effects and everything. Yeah, it's like shining with a spotlight in your face. Trying to get the right lighting so it looks pretty good. It's part of the dues, but it's still fun. All right. So the question of how to use double nunchaku is a big one. Let's go over some basics. I think that'd be fun. We got a question here: how to use double nunchucks? And the answer is very carefully. When we start with double nunchucks, first things first, I gotta find my other nunchuck here. You know what? I only have one of my dark monks right now, so I'm gonna go over to these chucks. This was actually given to me. This was homemade nunchuck made by Flotrix, someone that watches the YouTube channel, and they're pretty awesome. So what we have here, they're oak, as you can hear. Plonk. What we have here, when you're thinking of double nunchucks, how do you start it? I mean, how do you do double nunchucks? It's pretty difficult. Like, there's a lot of things that you have to consider. Is it harder than single nunchuck? Slightly. It's different though too. Like, single nunchucks can have more complicated moves compared to others, but with double nunchucks, you always have to have two nunchucks in motion. So you have a lot more to consider keeping these in motion. When you first start with double nunchucks, I would try to just feel out your space. It's not the most exciting thing. A lot of people just want to go rah and go into their throws, and go into their bounces. But until you understand the space that you're using, it's really hard to be able to pull these moves off in flow. What I mean by understanding your space, when you first start with the nunchucks, what I'd like you to do is understand, like, first, spinning your nunchuck. You remember when you first started with single nunchucks, one of the first moves we did was a circular spin. It just spins in a circle, right? Double nunchucks makes things a little bit harder because as we spin in a circle, there's different ways we can spin two nunchucks in a circle. For instance, they can spin in the same time, like this. So that means if I were to stop These chucks occupy the same space at the same place. So when they're both at 9 o'clock, they're both at 3 o'clock, they're just kind of moving parallel. And then you also have like offset timing that you also have to learn. For instance, when we're doing weaves like this, you notice they're not moving in the same space, or it'd look more like this, which doesn't nearly look as cool, right? So we have this chasing motion, and that's another thing you can practice. If you practice these two things, it's not the most exciting thing to start with doubles, but it is going to give you the foundation for a lot of moves. So even if we're going in the same direction, so they're both going counterclockwise, these are moving parallel, so this is same time. And then what we can do is you try to see if you can get the chuck to meet in the center. And when I say the center, if I had a beam of light shooting out of my chest, both the chucks, when they actually meet together, you'll see is connecting right there, right at the chest, right? And this is very important for your timing, so you want to be able to learn how to do this. This can take some time. If you're not used to it, some people, it could take even a day or two just to get this timing down, or longer. But the trick to getting this timing down, because most people are used to moving them at the same time, the trick to get this kind of timing down is quite simply, if you move them at the same time like this, you notice my hands are moving up and down, right? And they're moving at the same time. But as my hand moves up and down, if I start my hands in opposite positions, so this is up and this is down, and I move, and as this one goes down, this one goes up, as this one goes up, this one goes down, this will kind of give you the timing where the chucks do meet in the center. You may not think that the meeting in the center is very important right now because you won't be able to make that connection, but a lot of moves in nunchucks require either them to be at the same time. Let me give you an example, which is split opposite hand rolls. Split opposite hand rolls done at the same time will look like this, right? So they're occupying the same space, so I'm doing a hand roll here, I'm doing a hand roll to the outside, and you can see my hands are in the same space. This is a different feel than if we were chasing it. This is a chase, this is the same space, right? If we're chasing it, it looks like this. This is the one you see most chuckers doing, right? But before you can do that, it's really important to understand this timing. Even if you don't necessarily do this technique, understanding how these kind of offset each other is going to be really important for doubles. And that is just the start. Now I've got quite a few videos on how to do doubles and a lot of different other techniques, so I just wanted to start you with that. But understanding two basic concepts, which is which direction are they going? They're either going the same direction or they're going opposite directions. Those will actually open up different moves. And then do they need to go at the same time or they need to be offset? Do they need to be in split time? That will also open up different moves. I'll give you an example. Another one, these split opposite hand rolls in this order can only be done if both the nunchucks are going, if you were to look at my chest and see they're going upwards, it can only be done like this, which means that my left hand is going counterclockwise and my right hand is going clockwise. So they're going in opposite direction. If both hands were going in the same direction, I can't do that move anymore. It becomes a different move. It becomes something more like this, which looks a bit different, I would say, because now I'm doing hand rolls that have to happen by my shoulder pulling down as opposed to coming up, because that's just how it is. The direction that it goes is going to dictate what you do. There's actually four different points. There's 4 different ways to spin the nunchucks with doubles where you have access to totally different moves. And so when you understand those 4 points, then you learn how to transition between them. A good example is I just showed you that you can't do that move here, but you can do it if I just did one bounce. If I did one bounce, so if I bounce my right hand underneath my armpit, then all of a sudden it goes the opposite direction, which will allow me to do those moves. I know that I just fed you a lot of theory. Without a lot of technique, and I apologize for that. Well, not really. This is good for you. Okay, I hope it blew your brain for a second. But as it simmers in, you'll understand this importance, because if you come into double nunchucks understanding that there's 4 different ways it could go, then you won't get stuck and you won't have questions how you can get to those moves. Well, you'll have questions, but you won't be confused how to get to it. You'll know where to go. You'll have an idea that you do need to do some sort of bounce or some sort of motion change to get access to the other 3 points. If you don't know about this, what that means is you have a 25% chance, sometimes 50. You have 25 to 50% chance that you'll be able to nail that move if you don't know about those directional timings. The directions and the timings. They're important. They're both of them pretty good. So yeah, there's that. Let me just double check here. I don't have Facebook comments on here, so I just want to make sure. Yeah, we're looking good over here, I think. Sweet. All right. Oh my gosh. Yeah, I do have some people. So I also want to do some shout outs here. I want to say hi to Jaden and Sammy and Carrie and Mohammed. Hello, hello, hello. I hope you all are doing well. All right. I'm going to get back to YouTube questions. It's so cool. Like, I love the fact that I started doing live streams last year. I think it's really good. I'm really happy. I like being able to help people. Sometimes, I've said this before too, like, I've been doing this like 10 years, 15 years. So if you could imagine trying to teach for 10 years, I have I have like about 1,000 videos on YouTube total. Some of them are private, so you can't see them, but like 1,000 videos. If you could imagine that I don't always know what to teach, it's really nice with live streams because I know exactly. I get questions that people, really need to know. So I know that it helps people, is what I'm trying to say. And I like that. And that makes me want to keep doing more live streams. Plus, I get more comfortable the more I do it. Okay, let me just keep going here. Where were we? So, I kind of lost my place here. Oh, here you go. How to use double nunchuck. So we're going to go to the next one here. The next question is, can you go over continuous wrist rolls or demonstrate forward to backwards? I can't get more than 2 or 3 rolls. Is there some way to get a better rhythm? Okay, so let's see. If you could go over continuous wrist rolls, forwards and backwards. So we're talking about front to front and back to back wrist rolls. Let's go over that for a second here. Yeah, I'm happy to. Let me find this here. I gotta turn this off. There we go. Front to front wrist rolls and back to back wrist rolls. You got a lot of ways that this could go wrong. Like there's a lot of fine tuning when it comes to wrist rolls. Back to back's usually easier. So work on this one first. And the trick to being able to do them a lot, well, first is to be able to go slowly with it. And whenever there's an error, you should first look at where this rope is. If this rope is not consistently going down your wrist and going all the way up towards the back of the fleshy part of your pinky before it reaches you, then it's a plane issue. You may be releasing too late as well, or you may be releasing too early. If you release too early, then the chuck will fly out of your hand. You have to wait until the chuck is starting to roll up your hand before you release the other one. And then when you release it, also the way that you release the other chuck is important. If you move your hand too much, your hand will miss the chuck. Without being able to see you do it, it's harder for me to tell where it might go wrong, but keep this in mind. When you do the chuck, minimize your hand movement. Do as little with your fingers as possible, but use your fingers to get that chuck that's in your hand out of the way. Just flick it out of the way. So do a very small flick. It's just a very small flick out of the way, but then return it very quickly back in the same space so the other chuck can land into it. So it's going up here. The moment it comes up, it's just a little flick, but see my hand stays still, and then it just waits for the other chuck and then it grabs it. Usually it's one of those two things. Usually it's either the plane or it's just the positioning. The third one is going to be your timing. But it's going to be one of those three, I guess. I guess there's 3 of them really. Plane, positioning, and timing. The plane, making sure it's nice and straight, crawls up the back to the fleshy part of your finger. Make sure that you release as soon as it starts to, like when it's almost too late, don't do it too early or you'll drop it. And then the last one, just make sure that you don't move your hand, you don't lose where your hand placement is when you're throwing off the other one. All of those can be issues. Now when we're going to the front to front, it's the exact same thing. Why? Because nunchucks, just like any other skill, everything boils down to the same concepts. It's just different. Like there's just different requirements for those concepts. So hold on one second here. Just gotta make sure I didn't get a. Okay, perfect. So with the front to front hand roll, it's going to be very similar in that, remember, it's like we're waving high. So first thing you're going to do is you're going to plant your hand down. Now, from what I hear, I think you say you can do multiple ones. So if you can do multiple front to front hand rolls already, fantastic. But if you're losing it, another thing that you can do to work on it is don't just do them consecutively back to back, right? That can take more time. Instead, do one circular spin in front of you and do a second one. Circular spin, roll. Circular spin, roll. This will give you a little bit more time to get used to doing your front to fronts. When you start getting comfortable just doing a circular spin or a front to front and then a circular spin, then go ahead and see if you can do 2 of them amidst the pattern of what we're doing. So do this for a while. Boom, spin, and then when you feel comfortable, see if you can just do 2 in a row. 1, 2. it's going to require you to be a lot faster, and it's going to require, so the trick is being able to do them consecutively. You want to minimize your hand movement and add more snap, add more sharp snapness to make the chucks keep moving while you're not while you're not moving your position out of the way. Hopefully that'll help. Watch your planes too. But I think that should help. Let me know how that works for you. And again, if you have any problems or questions, send me an email, kenhillfire@gmail.com, kenhillfire@gmail.com. Send me an email with the video, as long as you don't mind it being shared on YouTube. I'll be able to help you and share it with others, so if other people have questions, I can help them too. All right, Tabitha says, my hubby is watching too. He used one of your tricks in a nunchuck performance over a few years and the crowd loved it. Yes, awesome. I'm glad to hear that. It's really interesting, because I started as a martial arts background, but I was always a musician as well. So it's like combining, this art for me is like combining my musical creative side with the fighting side of nunchucks with that. And it's a really great combo, especially when we're talking creative weapons and whatnot, like martial arts instruments. It's really nice to add a little bit of a flourish on top of, the practicality of what martial arts can be as well. Tannen says, thanks so much. I would be honored to be your student, but sadly I live in Iran. I can't pay people outside the country. That helps so much. You're amazing. No, you're most welcome. And it's never been, like, it's not about the money. I mean, if people can support Flow Tricks, I always appreciate it, because, for me, that's, if I can make a living doing what I love, doing my passion, then I want to, and I'll keep making these things. But even if you don't have that much money, that's perfectly okay. That's how Flow Tricks started. I've been doing this for 10 years, I can understand that. Keep in mind that you can always catch me on a live stream, like now, or you could always just, like I said, send me that email, kenhillfire@gmail.com. If you don't mind me sharing it with my YouTube, the YouTube subscribers, then I can use this I can use other people's videos of people needing to learn stuff as an example for the whole group. And so I still feel like it's very helpful in that way. Let's see, that's cool. I'm trying to get to the infinite level. Yeah, me too, aren't we all? I want to be infinite. Rob says, front to front is tougher, but it's my favorite. Right, I agree. Like, it's tough, but then once you learn how to do it, you love it. And I'll show you a couple more things. Let's just go into the front to front again. Once you get that down, once you get the front to front down, right, you'll realize that there's a lot of moves that can happen. So once you get the front to front down, you can also throw it into, like, let's do a combo. For instance, if we do the rotor pass, it's also doing the same motion as a front to front. So one little drill you can do is a rotor pass. I'm assuming you know it. It's where you do the back grip that's upside down. It's one of the beginner moves, one of the first moves that I like to teach. And then throw a front to front in right here. Front to front, rotor pass. Front to front, rotor pass. Front to front, rotor pass. If you feel comfortable with that, then we'll add another one. We'll do a front to front here, do a rotor pass, and we'll pass it to a back to back, right? And then we'll finish the rotor pass just like we normally would, and we go back to a front to front, rotor pass, back to back, grab. Front to front, rotor pass, back to back, grab. It's really cool. It's a cool little combo that you can add. Anytime the chuck is spinning counterclockwise, you got that front to front anytime. So if you got the front to front and you're kind of bored or you want to find other ways to do it, think of that way. Like, for instance, we have this extension where my hand's extending. Throw front to fronts with it too. One thing I like to do, which I think is fun, is throwing a front to front. If I move my hand in like a full extension, sorry, kind of hard to see. If I move my hand in a full circle like this and I stall over here and I throw a front to front, so basically I'm making a big circle, I stall here, but this also becomes a front to front roll. It has a really cool illusion that happens. And so, like, you can get creative. Don't just, if you just learn the move, any technique, and I can't stress this enough, just because you learn the technique, if you haven't put it in a variety of situations, it's just like if you just learn how to do a front kick, right? You learn how to do a front kick, but once you do it 1,000, 10,000 times, you are going to have an understanding of how you can use it in so many more ways. If you feel comfortable doing it this way, for instance, we can also add front to fronts with anti-spin. So if we're moving our hand into 3-pedal anti-spin, this is more advanced, but I'm just saying, like, it just continues. If you're going in and do a 3-pedal anti-spin, we can still add front to fronts with that too, to make it even more difficult and challenging to do. And you can also do the front to front anti-spin while doing rotor passes on top of that. So it's like, it's infinite. You just keep combining It just keeps going and it's crazy. Which is probably why I've been able to teach this for 10 years, because there is one thing I can do. The concepts are pretty basic and all the same for all nunchucks across the board, or any props for that matter. But being able to come up with creative new combos is something I can keep pushing out, just because all you do is you combine different ones together and it creates, well, new combos. So just some thoughts. Just some thoughts. I thought that was pretty cool. NK Legendary says, love from Nepal, bro. Nice. You know what I wish? I wish there was a way that I could just like either, well, not with COVID, but just either teleport to everyone that does flow tricks. I already talked about doing a world tour. I still would love to do a world tour, travel across the world, find some dojos all around, teach. I think that would be really fun. Once COVID dies down, that's probably going to be something that's seriously on my radar. We just can't right now, but we've got these live streams, so that's cool. Lucas is from Brazil too. See, it's like Nepal and Brazil. It's like I want to visit these places. Have you ever thought about using a section staff? I have in the past, not very much though. Problem is I know a lot of different props. Like I know sword and staff and double staff and chucks and double chucks and poi, and I made up my own, and I played around with a little bit of sickle and sai, but it's like there's just so many props to learn. It's like it's just endless. It's an endless stream of different props.
Understand this importance, because if you come into double nunchucks, understanding that they're...
Hold on 1 second here. It's funny because I'm trying to look at my Facebook channel, and sometimes it plays the video. So, all right. I'm gonna give a few more shout outs. I want to give a shout out to Mohammed and Adelson. They're on my Facebook page, so I just want to make sure I say hello to all y'all. All right, we're gonna go back to. So I just realized this YouTube thing. Oh, there we go. Okay, I was gonna say the YouTube wasn't showing the comments. Continues to disappear for some reason. That's really interesting. There we go. So we'll keep going here. Excuse me. I'm a bit baffled by technology. As you can see, this keeps disappearing and reappearing. It's just really weird. Let's just refresh that and see that if it stays. All right. Let's see. Human Nature. Oh, here we go. Yeah. Human Nature says, thanks so much for sharing your skills. I would love to train with you in person one day. I would too. The only time I've ever done anything was my Costa Rica retreat. I did that three times, and it was amazing. But I think it'd be really fun to come to you guys, because Costa Rica can get, it's beautiful and it's an experience, but it can get pricey, and I think it'd be kind of cool. Just, like I said, a world tour, I think it would be fantastic. Spend a weekend in different countries and different places, and try the food. But the most important thing, teach. See where you all are at in person. It's so much easier to help people in real life, where I can actually see what you're doing and even help make adjustments. It's great. Leonard says, hey, caught your Instagram live yesterday. Wow, that's awesome, Leonard. That's great. That was another impromptu one. It's actually the Instagram thing that got me thinking, I should do that for YouTube today. Ike Flo, what's up? Hey, hope you're well. Nice to see you streaming again. Caught this as I'm headed to bed. It's just past 2 a.m. That's really late. I'll be asleep by 2. I'm an old man now. It's good to see you though. I'm part of the reason why I did this live stream is because I haven't done one in a while. So that's cool. NK Legendary. What would be better for doing tricks? Nunchucks with chain or rope? Doesn't matter. To be honest, it doesn't matter. I guess I should say the only way it matters is if you're hard on your nunchucks. I would prefer you use rope. I have broken so many chain chucks in my life because the swivel pops. Like, especially if you're performing and you're really getting into it, it's easy to break a swivel. It's not easy, but when you're performing, you have adrenaline, and if you ever get dirt or dust inside the swivel, it makes it so much easier to break. But in terms of rope chucks, I think I may have broken 2, where with chain I've probably broken like 30, probably more. They're just when they're ready to pop, they just pop. So, I kind of think when you're doing tricks and stuff, I prefer to use chucks where I can see if they're gonna break, because that's the last thing you want. Say you're performing or you're showcasing for someone and it flies out and it hits someone, or even if you're at home and it just flies out and hits your television just because it snapped, It's a low possibility, but really there's not a huge big difference between chain and rope. With rope, it's foldable, so it's a lot easier to do these types of motions. With chain, there is one advantage. There is an advantage with chain. One is some people like the feel because it's thicker, and I kind of like to feel the thick, chunky feel of chain. But another is that they do have swivels, so there's certain moves where you can spin a nunchuck. Like if you glance it off the side, it'll roll the chuck, and it'll actually cause the chuck to whirl really fast. So if you have a stripe design on your chuck, and you hit it on your arm and you whirl it, you glance it, the chuck will look like it's spiraling in the air, and it's pretty cool. It's a pretty cool effect, I think. Let's see. Tannen says, I once saw someone doing something like a football kick-up with nunchucks. Have you ever heard about that? Do you have a tutorial on it? Football kick-ups. I'm not sure. I don't know if you're just talking about just dropping the chuck by the foot here and then kicking it straight up, but it literally is trying to get it nice and even around the foot. As long as the chuck is even around the foot, then you got to kick it nice and straight too, and it's going to come up parallel. It's going to come up where both chucks are kind of flying at the same time, so it's going to be a lot less control, which is why you kind of move your foot. You don't snap your foot. You just kind of roll it up. You just nice and easy and just let it gently go into the air. That's where you have the most control. If you start adding snaps, it'll cause it to rotate and rapidly move, which is a little bit harder to catch. When you get comfortable with it, you can, but those are the only kick-ups that I've seen. Yeah, those are the only kick-ups that I've seen, so hopefully that answers your question. Miriam says, I'm so sorry, I just saw someone else ask the same question. I can't reply because this is live. Can you just name some techniques we can learn after finishing the tutorials? Sure, yeah. I'm going to assume that you're talking about the beginner tutorials. Once you're done with the beginner tutorials, I made those videos a long time ago. I think we did the figure 8 wrist rolls and we did rips. I don't think we did extensions though. So a couple of moves you can think about is figure 8 wrist roll extensions, these guys, which is the ability to take a figure 8 wrist roll with an extended arm. That's always fun. And actually, anything dealing with extensions where your arm is locked out is a great thing to add, even if we're talking like rips, for instance. If we move it in our hands in a circle, it kind of creates a different motion, right? So if you want to think about different moves you can do, start with some extensions and seeing if you can do the same techniques that you just learned, but with your arm locked out. A lot of it's also going to be different combos. And, I also prefer throws. I don't know how many throws that you've learned, but see if you can get the basic ones are going to be the front to front throw, like this one. Under the leg throw is really fun as well. This one right here. So I definitely have videos on under the leg throws. I remember that. So take a look at those. Make sure you got your X catch like this. Make sure you have your moon waves, your sun waves. And if you get both of those, see if you can do something called an S catch. S catches are really fun as well. It opens up a whole new possibility for different kinds of moves as well. If both of those are easy, try 2 back grips and go into an inverted moon wave. That's another one that I think is really fun, which is from 2 back grips. You just take your thumb and you press down as you twist over, and it allows you to do a moon wave inverted, upside down. There's also Simexes, symmetrical crossings, which are kind of fun. One of them, the most simple, is just to hold 2 back grips and just kind of push the ends towards themselves and see if you can just pass it back and forth. That's not exciting yet, but eventually what you'll be able to do is get it in the air and get some really interesting motions, and then you can pull it behind you and start working other kinds of moon waves. And that one happens to be from 2 back grips, pull it up towards your face, pull down, have one hand slightly in front of the other, and then you pull both of them outwards, which causes them to cross past each other. Those are going to be more the intermediate types of moves, and it just keeps going on and on. The wheel is a good one. That's a classic, being able to get the chucks to spin with 2 fingers this way. And what that is that's kind of putting a pointer finger on the bottom of the rope, and on the other side it goes on the top of the rope, so they're both on opposite sides, as you can see. And then you basically just push down and you kind of create a circle. You're making more of a line than a wide circle, so it's push down and then you make a circle. The initial push is really important, that you give it a lot of force. Well, not a lot of force, but you got to give it more force, because to get it started is harder. But then to maintain it, you go very lightly. There's more. Like I said, then you have finger rolls that you could do, or you have throws, you have bounce combos, like hyper bounce combos is another great one. That's probably Most hyper combos are easy. So if all of these seem kind of like too advanced, go into hyper style. I think you'd really like that one. And of all those, I'm sure you'll find some goodies. I'm sure you'll find some goodies from there. All right, B67. Hey Ken Hill, what trick do you recommend? I love my flowy tricks. Please answer. Yeah, sure. So B627 wants to know some flowy tricks, huh? I mean, for me, one of my favorite tricks is going to be the behind the back 360. And what makes it so cool is it's very flowy. The behind the back 360 is just that. And the way it works is there's 4 steps. Step 1, you're gonna put it in. We'll go right-handed. So if you're using your left, do the exact opposite. Chuck in the right hand, counterclockwise, spin in front of you. That's step 1. Step 2 is my right foot over here is going to turn to where I'm facing the opposite direction, but you always, here's the rule, always keep the chuck facing the camera or the wall. So this chuck is never going to stop spinning in this direction. So this is step 2 is this way, right? Step 3 is the hardest part. I think you can get it though. Step 3 is going to be basically, you're going to pull your left hand back like this, and you're going to put your chuck, and it's going to kind of swing up and almost tap your shoulder. Make sure it taps your shoulder, because basically what you're looking for is you're looking for a clean shot, so when you let go, it's going to fly past your shoulder and back into the air. So step 1, step 2, put that arm back, get ready for step 3. Step 3 is up here, and you're going to let go right before it hits your shoulder. So as it's coming up to almost hit your shoulder, you let go about right here. So step 3, whoosh, right? Now the chuck is just going to fly up in the air, and it should just kind of fly fairly close to you. So step 4 is going to be basically you turn to meet it. So 1, 2, I can't really do this slow though, 3, and 4. And from here, if you notice, if I catch with my right hand, I can do this infinitely. So 1, 2, 3, 4. Just do it forever and ever. And you can do this just about any time. So if you know your figure 8 wrist rolls, here's a figure 8 wrist roll, and I can go straight into that. The way that worked is I kind of went to step 2 automatically. Here's step 1. Step 2 is right here, right? From here, I just did a figure 8 wrist roll. So I kind of cheated the system per se. I skipped past step 1 just to twist my body, and then I could do this figure 8 wrist roll. And whenever I was ready, I get back into my front grip, and then I go straight into step 3 and catch. Figure 8 wrist roll, swing, catch. Now you can kind of see that if you're talking about flowy, like figure 8 wrist rolls are so great. There's so many ways you can get in and out of them. So, all right, Paul. Hey, that helped. Okay, that helped with the back-to-back. Good. I'm glad to hear that. Glad to hear, Paul. John says, awesome stuff. Big fan. My best tricks I learned from you. Glad to hear that, John. Glad to hear that. I wish I had a big video where I could see everyone's nunchucks. I think it'd be sweet. But you guys are just rocking it. Santiago, what's up? Hola. Been a minute. It's been a minute since I've done a live stream. It's really good to see some familiar faces for sure. Hope you're doing well. Leonard says, hey Ken, aside from weaves, double wrist rolls, what other doubles moves could I use? I mean, there's a few of them, but I can understand where this is coming from. Biggest problem with doubles, I think, is where do you go with doubles, right? Like when people do doubles with nunchucks, here's the 2 things that most people go to: weaves, and what's the other one? Split opposite hand rolls, right? What are other things you can do? Well, I'm going to just briefly go over them. So I'm not going to teach them, but I'm just going to show you some different options. One is the ability to do 2 different things with your hands. I think that's a really important one. So if I do a figure 8 wrist roll with my left hand, I can be independent with my right, just basically doing whatever I want. What this will do is this will allow, if you can start working on just doing a figure 8 wrist roll with your non-dominant hand and using your dominant hand, and just do this for now, just do a bounce. Just do whatever kinds of bounces you want. What you're trying to do is just break up your brain to thinking into 2 different patterns. A pattern that you can do without thinking, and then focusing on the other hand. It's really important that you can break it apart, and then whenever you want to, you can always go back into the move but then you can also break out of it, so you're not stuck in the pattern per se. So that's one thing you can do. When you're doing your weaves, you can extend your arm out to create a little bit of variety as well. So if I'm doing my weaves here, you can see that the arm just kind of crosses over and crosses over, right? But if we really lock the arm out, it allows us to do bigger swings, like that. This will open up other moves too. For instance, if we swing it this way, we can eventually open up our... Hold on. Problem with living indoors. Only I lived in the wilds. You can extend both your arms out and start creating other kinds of moves too. You've probably seen that in... I have a video on double staff, and we really go over those kinds of motions where your arms are extended. You'll have to check out my double staff video. I have that in there. Other things you can do is bounce combos, like bounce combos. And the bounce combo is basically hyper style, but with doubles. You have vertical, which is what I did. You also have horizontal. And that's just basically doing combinations of bounces that you can do to make it, to add more fierceness and variety. You can work on your buzzsaws if you haven't worked on those. And you can even do bounce combos, like we're doing this bounce combo, and you can add buzzsaws to those combos. You can also do, if you're doing the weave, hold it out. Remember earlier I was talking about this type of motion where your hands are in front of you and you're doing something called, well, this is called crank position, but basically where you're meeting them in the center of your chest. And from here you also have options to say, we can go into like any spins. I'll give you an example. Arms are crossed here, do a spin, one arm up, one arm down, arms to the outside. Keep going till you're in a full circle and swing it back. You can do spins. So we're doing a 3-beat weave or whatever. See if you can start turning with it. Did you see how that works? So as you exit to one direction, go into a reverse the other way. So if we're in reverse, I swing up and now we're in the front. Swing down and we're in a reverse. And that's going to be really handy. Do some throws. Just get underneath the... And this one we're going to do the same as we're doing split opposite hand rolls. It's the same direction. They are moving up from the chest. One arm sticks out. We swing it under and we pull it back as we let go, causing the chuck to fly underneath the arm. So I just shotgunned a bunch of techniques for you. The good news is you can always just rewatch this video once it posts live. And I think, and those are just the foundations. Once you work on those, you can come up with even more moves that extend from there. Hopefully that'll help you though. I do have a couple of double nunchuck videos too, so keep your eye out on the YouTube page because we cover a lot of those. Actually, we've already covered a lot of those on the YouTube page, so check those out. What's up, TM? Oh, it's Laura. Good to see. Good to see you, Laura. It's been a minute. Or hear from you, I should say. NK Legendary, can you please teach continuous front-to-front roll slowly? I can't spin more than 2 to 3 times. Sure, yeah. Continuous front-to-front roll slowly is really, it's really kind of difficult to do them slowly because it requires momentum. But I'll do it as slow as possible, and hopefully this will help. Just remember the important rule. Hand up like this. Do you see how I hold my chuck? It's just kind of falling off. Like, this is how I normally hold the chuck. But when I do my front-to-front rolls, I open it up where I'm almost pinching it between my pointer finger and thumb. This allows the string to bend more across the wrist. And then it's going to lift up to the other side. And then I'm going to open up my hand, and this is going to roll down. Now you notice, too, I'm not holding it up high. I'm not holding it here. I'm holding it more in a middle grip, too. So I'm going to do this sideways first so you can see it. I'll go as slow as I can. There. It's really hard to go slow, that's for sure. What you can also see, if you really look closely, it should look like a circle. So when I grab this, do you see how it kind of flops right there? That means I didn't get a good pull. So the moment you get this grab, keep twisting it in the same circle. It should not be interrupted. So if you're going faster or slower than the rotation, you're going to throw off your throws back to back. To do these effectively, you always have to maintain the same speed, which can actually be, that could be part of the problem, is your tempo is not pulling the chuck. So the moment you grab it, really kind of make sure that you twist it out to keep it nice and steady. As you can see, the chuck is moving in a very circular fashion, right? And the moment I grab it, that hit the outside of my thumb. The moment I grab it here, I'm making sure that the other side of the chuck doesn't get affected. It still stays in that same circular motion. So it may be what's happening. I can't really tell without seeing it, but that was the only thing we didn't really cover, is going nice and easy and making sure the moment you grab it, on the other hand, that you're kind of twisting it and keeping that speed the same. Now, what's interesting is keeping the speed the same means you have to give a sharp flick too, though. So there's like this initial flick that happens the moment you let go. The moment you let go and you grab it with the other hand, the moment you it rolls down your wrist, you do have to give it a little bit sharper flick because it's going to lose a lot of the momentum going underneath and back up. It's a very subtle thing. But hopefully that helps. That's the best way I can say it. If you're catching it and it's wonky, just make sure that you get that nice circular rotation right there at the moment you catch it. And then if you're wondering, see if you can just catch it first and hold it exactly where it was. So we do the front to front, but this time don't carry it anywhere. Just get used to it, wait for it to slow down, and then pull it over and see if you can do it that way. Because you really need to give it, you need to make sure the plane is nice and straight. If you're able to do it consecutively, if you're able to do it 2 or 3 times, in my eyes, that probably means your plane's off. I would guess that your plane's off. The circle is not complete. That's all. Make a dedicated video on Dark Monk website, how to buy nunchucks. I've tried many times, but I was unable to order from India. Oh, really? Yeah. Let me talk to Dark Monk about that too. We definitely want, I love the Dark Monks. They're just one of my favorites. So let me see what I can find out. What's up, NOG? Hey, Ken, spins 2 nunchucks around the neck at the same time. It's cool. Can you do more videos with slow motion Infinite X catches? Oh yeah, of course. Slow motion videos. I had a iPhone and I've switched over to LG, so I'm back to Android, and I don't know if it has slow motion capabilities. But if I do have it, I'll work on that. I'll see if I can get something out for you for that. I want a nunchuck like you. I contacted Dark Monk on Instagram, but I didn't understand his reply. Can you please convey my message to him? I want a nunchuck like yours. Of course. Yeah, message me too, just because I've got a lot of things brewing, and so does Chad from Dark Monk. I just talked to him today actually, and he's pretty big, he is swamped right now. So it's a lot of times people are just busy, but they mean to get back to you, or they mean to help. It's just sometimes you get really busy, that's all. Miriam says, thank you so much, Master. You're the best. No, you're most welcome. I really do hope that helps. Okay, Ken, I want to learn that figure 8 wrist roll, but I have a problem. I do it very slowly. Teach me that, please. Sure, yeah. So if you want to learn the figure 8 wrist roll, let's break it down. Figure 8 wrist roll is essentially a figure 8 with a wrist roll, obviously. But let's break this down even more. Obviously, a figure 8 wrist roll is the ability to do a figure 8 and to add wrist rolls to it, right? That part we can get, but let's break it down. Let's stop thinking of it like a figure 8 and start thinking of it like, here's a circle in front of me, here's a circle behind me. The circle in front of me, the moment that it starts at 6 o'clock, I'm going to hold my hand upside down like this. So again, I'm going to try to hold my hand upside down. The moment it's pointed downwards, I'm going to open up my hand and do a front to back hand roll. So just do this to start. Here, front to back hand roll. Boom, right? Once I do that, just do that a few times. Front to back hand roll. We got this. Now here's the thing. The moment you do the front to back hand roll, you're going to twist your hand up so it swings up, almost pointing upwards, and you're going to cross your body, and now you're going to work on the circle behind you. So what I'd like you to do is stay in this back grip motion and just do a circle behind you. So now what I'd like you to do, circle in front of you, we're going clockwise, do a hand roll, swing it behind, but now do a circle behind you and don't do anything yet. Just feel this for a moment. Feel this out. This is the harder one, right? Obviously you don't spin it this much, but sometimes it's better to stop thinking of it like a figure 8 and start thinking of it like, here's a circle here, here's a circle here, here's a hand roll here, here's a hand roll here. Let's cross them over and we're done. So here, hand roll to the back grip. Once this points upwards, we slash down to get it behind us. And here's the thing, the moment this is pointed downwards, 6 o'clock, we are going to get our hand in the way. Now, if you look really closely, I have to get my hand in the way. I have to turn my hand in the way so the rope will roll up my hand and grab it. So keep in mind, you have to kind of intercept. You kind of have to, as you're spinning it here, right? It's going this way. Wait, it's going this way. As you're rolling it here, I have to twist my hand in the way. So the moment this is coming upwards, my hand twists in the way to intercept it. So it's here while it's rotating in a circle. Once it gets here, my hand rotates in, and that allows it to fall into my hand. So you can also practice this. And then the moment it's up high, see if you can get your hand in the way. That can be tricky. The back one's a little trickier. So if you can get that, then you have, you're spinning it in front. We do the hand roll. The moment it gets up to the top, we swing it down to the back. And now we're going to do the same thing. The moment it gets at the bottom, we're going to intercept, we're going to get our hand in the way, and that will be a back to front roll. And then the moment it gets to the top, we're going to swing it down. So every time the chuck is at the top, we swing it down. Every time it's at the top, we swing it down. And every time it's at the bottom, we hand roll. So again, as it's at the bottom, I hand roll. As it's at the top, I swing down. If it's at the bottom, I hand roll. As it's at the top, I swing down. Hand roll, swing down. Hand roll, swing down. Hand roll, swing down. Hand roll, swing down. And eventually, you'll be able to get it in one motion. But that's how you break it down into little pieces. That is cut up into little itty bitty pieces. Little pieces. Okay, I want to do another shout out here. I got a lot of people on my Facebook saying hello. So also wanted to say hi to Adelson from Brazil, as well as Arjun from India. Welcome, welcome. All right. And now we're going to Adrich. Hey Ken, could you please demonstrate some Bruce Lee moves? Thanks, I need it for a show. I mean, the Bruce Lee moves are really, like, what you're looking at is going to be like the basics. I'm not saying Bruce Lee was basic, but when you're doing combat chucks, you got to keep it simple. And Bruce Lee did combat chucks, so he's talking basics. So, I mean, what's important if you're going for that is going to be your clutches. You want to make sure you have good clutches, good over-the-shoulder passes. Don't add extra circles or spins. Just make them nice and sharp. Catch, catch. So what I'd like to see you do, let's just do those. And keep it nice and simple again. Over-the-shoulder pass. And instead of swinging it across the hip and up, just take it straight up and over the shoulder to the other side. This is more martial arts style because we're doing upward strikes into the chin. Boom, right? And then also swing down. But what I want you to do is hold lower and snap. And when I mean snap, you gotta watch yourself. You don't want to smack yourself in the face, but it's like we're whipping a belt. This will give you more of a combat style nunchucks. Is gonna be how you snap that chuck. Right? Because that's what we're trying to do. It's a weapon. We're trying to basically, you keep it nice and loose until the point of strike, and then you snap your arm into it, and that snap will ripple up to the chuck and just knock out. Just make sure you don't knock yourself out. Which I'm sure has happened somewhere in the history of flow tricks. I want to know how many people have watched my videos or I tell them to use foam chucks, but they probably still use oaks and then they knock themselves out. Okay, let's keep going here. We have Santuan says, I'm practicing these moves you're doing now. I saw an article. Okay. I thought I'd read the same one. I saw an article about your age. Very good. You've been teaching me for almost 3 years. Thanks, bro. You're welcome. Yeah. I wanted to talk about, well, one, I just think it's good to just talk about age because it's this thing that people are afraid of talking about. But it is what it is, right? Like, you got to make the most out of your years. It actually doesn't matter how old you are. I think that's the whole point. Age and time should not be used as an excuse. And I know that sounds crazy because a lot of people don't have time. But I remember, and I'm not saying, like, I'm not putting myself on a pedestal at all. I'm not trying to say this, but when I still made time even when I was raising my kid and I had a full-time job and I was training 3 different props and I was working for a company as a performer and I was building the YouTube channel. I was making videos. I was doing all of this, right? So if you take out 8 hours for work, and then raising my son, like, I had no time for anything. But the thing is you make time. So time and age as an excuse, I think that it's not constructive. I think that we should always realize we can almost always make time if we want to. Like if I were to say, hey, if you train for nunchucks, I'll give you $1,000, right? You would do it, right? You'd find that time. So like sometimes it's about realizing the value of what you're doing. So if people don't find much value in nunchucks, they're gonna say, I don't have time, right? And that's perfectly okay, but you guys all know, like with nunchucks or a lot of skill-based arts, you got to get pretty decent at it before you realize how amazing it is, right? You have a bad day, you can spin your chucks, you feel better, right? I mean, it can do wonders for like your mood as well as your just physical abilities, as dexterity, there's all kinds of benefits. But you got to get to that point first, right? And I think that's the part that is really tough, because when I get messages where people say, well, I'm pretty old, I'm 30, I'm just like, what? Dude, come on, I'm 43 now. Come on. Like, don't use age. Don't use age. Don't use age. Don't do it. Don't do it. Don't use age or time. I understand if you're busy. Everyone is busy. Some people are more busy than others. Some do have kids. I have a kid. Well, not anymore. He's an adult now, but I mean, I get it. But at the same time, if you want to do it, you're going to make it. And if you don't, you make excuses. And that's kind of where it boils down to. Of course, there's gray areas, but generally speaking, that's kind of where it's at. Oh, that was a long spiel. Sorry about that. Santiago. Hey, you know what? I can't read what you wrote, but I have Google Translate. Give me a second here. Google Translate. I'm cheating. It's okay, though. Ken, you know I don't understand almost anything you say, but I will follow you. I learn a lot by looking at you. Thank you very much. Oh, that's awesome. Thank you. No, thank you. I appreciate that, Santiago. I hope that YouTube makes captions, and hopefully it'll work. Hopefully captions work after the video is made, where like people that don't speak English can still benefit from it. I think that would be really cool. I know it's fairly good. Okay, let's keep going here. John, hey man, where can I get some decent chucks? Thanks again. I mean, my chuck of choice, of course, is going to be the Dark Monks. These guys, they're training nunchucks. They very much mirror my performance chucks when I perform, when I do like fire dancing or LEDs. They have more of a weight to them than foamies, but they're still padded like foamies. They can still pack a wallop, but I love the momentum that these things have. I love the Dark Monks. That's why like I fully endorse them, and I use them in all my videos because they're just awesome chucks. Other ones I could recommend, I mean, you can go to a martial arts store and try those. You can try and see what feels right to you too. Not everyone's choice of chucks should be the same. You definitely try a lot of different styles if you'd like. These are just my preference, but there's so many ways you can do it right. So it's whatever's comfortable for you. That's why you're the master. Doubles and hyper, that's mad. I'll be playing around with that as much as I can. Thank you for answering. Have a good day. Sure, let's go over a quick double for hyper combo for you then. If you like doubles and hyper, the easiest way to start is we're going to go into this motion again like this. Remember, we're meeting it in the center. I go over this one a lot because I feel like this is a really good basis for nunchucks. And then what you're going to do is we're just going to do a combo that's really simple. If you're using heavier oak chucks, use stalls instead of bounces. Because I'm using foams right here, I'm going to use bounces. And the way it looks is like this. Whatever hand is in front goes back, and it taps to the outside of the other arm. When I pull it back, it reverses it. So again, here I go. I'm here. As you can see, one chuck's in front. I'm just going to use my right hand. It's going to pull backwards, and it's going to bounce off the top of my arm and back. This changes the direction. So in one fell swoop, it goes one, reverse. Now we've changed our direction. Do it again with your right hand, but this time it goes from the bottom. Bottom, reverse. Faster, to do it fast, you kind of stick your arm out and you let it bounce across the meaty part of your arm, so you don't want to hit your elbow because that can hurt. So in faster motion, it'll look like this. 1, 2, right? 1, 2. Or 1, right? And then do it with the other hand too. So we're going here. This one, the left hand will have to go under to start, and then it'll reverse back to the other side, then it'll go over the top. Again, it's bouncing past the elbow right back here. Your combo, the easiest combo to learn off that is just to switch your hand. So we're going to go right, left, right, left. Right, reverse. Left, reverse. Right, reverse. Left, reverse. Right, left, right, left. Right, left, right, left. right, move. Right? You eventually get a really nice rhythm and a nice pattern, but it always goes right, reverse, left. When I say reverse, I just mean reverse your direction. Right, left. And that's it. That whole combo is, it looks really nice. If you're using oak chucks or if you're using heavy chucks, same move except with stalls. Don't bounce it because you can hurt yourself, especially when you're going high speed. So what this is right will stall here. I just hold it here for a second and reverse it. Left will do an up stall behind. See that? Up stall behind. Down stall, up stall, up stall. You can kind of see where this goes. You can get all kinds of really cool combos. You don't have to go left, right once you get comfortable with it, but I find that to be a really good starter combo is left, right, left, right. All right. Wow, we've covered a lot of ground. I'm probably going to give it about a few more minutes before I close this session. I'm going to try to get everyone's questions answered, though. We're almost to the bottom here. Daniel says, yo, hope you're well, bud. I'm feeling a lot better. For those that didn't know, I was knocked out for almost 3 months with this really bad abdomen issue. It's a mysterious abdomen issue that really messed me up. I was unable to do very much of anything, and then one day it just disappeared, and I have no idea what happened. Doctors could never figure out what it was. It was some sort of mysterious illness. But it was a challenging time. That was from October to December was really tough. But yeah, like I said, it just disappeared one day, and now I'm back. So that's awesome. NK says, thank you so much, sir. Due to your live streams, I'm learning more tricks of nunchucks. Of course. No, I'm happy to help. Oh, and really quick too, just to remind you all again, if you do like what you see and you'd like to support the channel, boom, 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 boom. I have a PayPal account if you'd like to drop a tip for this video. If you'd like to join the Flowtricks, there's a patreon.com/Flowtricks. I've got over 100 exclusive videos, as well as we do private Zoom classes, or I even do private lessons where I write it, like we actually keep records and sheets of where your progress is, so that way you don't forget anything I teach, and I also record all the live sessions for your personal review. So we've got all that at patreon.com/Flowtricks. Like I said, we have private lessons, group lessons, exclusive videos, and it supports the channel. So if you are able to support Flowtricks, I understand there's COVID, trust me. That's awesome. If not, it's still awesome that you guys are here. So stay tuned and keep liking the videos and all that good jazz. You know, keep commenting. Because honestly, that's what fuels my fire, is just knowing that it's making a difference. Being able to be supported by it really does help in terms of me being able to continue what I love to do. But the whole thing boils back down to me being able to help you guys be the best ninjas you are. And some of you guys are going to be performers. And some of you guys are going to win some martial arts tournaments from it. And I think that's awesome. All right. The last part of the figure eight, how to do a motion. I can do one wrist roll and then swing it to the other, but I can't do it in a motion. So the goal is always to not do it in motion. Don't do it in motion first. Really slow, and don't get it in motion until you can. If you're still having problems, maybe send me an email of your video so I can see it. And like I said, we'll review it over a future YouTube video. My email address is kenhillfire@gmail.com. kenhillfire@gmail.com. Send me an email. I'll take a look and I'd be happy to. I'm happy to help. So send me an email and we'll see what some of you guys are gonna win some martial. Oh, hold on. There we go. Oh, got a message from Ashley. You're doing amazing, Ken. So proud of what you've been able to conquer in 2020 despite the deck of cards we were dealt. You're killing it, and I can't wait to come watch you perform live again. Maybe our next Christmas party. Yes, that would be amazing. Ashley, you're awesome. Thank you so much. Yeah, you know, if there's one thing that's really killed us in 2020, it's events and performances. So me as a performer is almost non-existent. Last year especially. This year might be different, but I've really had to lean on online and Patreon and YouTube for last year. It's kind of fun though. Like I said, I really feel more connected with the with my nunchuck people that I have in years. So I'm going to continue doing live streams and videos for y'all. I really like that. But Yeah, I can't wait for performances too, because yeah, it's just fun. You know, it's just a whole nother thing. So you have the teaching side, and the teaching side is you guys, and that really fulfills like a certain element of being able to contribute something that's good, you know, that helps people and gives them a tool. And then you also have like performances is exciting. Like you never know what you're gonna get, and it makes people. It's like you're doing something that makes people happy, and it's just awesome too. You know, it's such a great combo. Like the ability to teach is fulfilling, but the ability to perform is exciting, and you mix it together, and you have this really nice balance of excitement and contentment. It's pretty awesome. Oh, hello, Leanne. It's good to see you too. Wow, that's old like faces I haven't heard from in a while. Leanne is awesome. She knew me back when I was a musician, before I was even a circus guy. Oh, speaking of which, Leanne, I'm actually writing new tracks. So I am starting to write music again, FYI. That's pretty cool. Adrish says, thank you for your help, Mr. Ken. You are really a god. Thank you. I appreciate it. I mean, I just try my best. I just want to do something good that helps people. So, and I feel like this is a good tool. I don't know about you guys. You don't know my story, but I will say, like, my story is like, it was really challenging when I was growing up. And it was martial arts and flow arts and music and art that gave me purpose. It was what got me. I don't know how I would have ended up without it. I could have ended up pretty bad. I don't know. I just know I needed an outlet. And so I think flow arts and all these, and art in general, just saved me. So I love teaching it because I know it can help other people too. Brave son, first time finding out you're a father, but your son thinks you're a really cool dad. Oh yeah. I mean, I can be kind of cringy and embarrassing, just like all dads, though, too. But yeah, I mean, he's 18 now, you know, so he's no longer a kid, but we have a lot of good memories. And that's a whole nother ballpark, too. I don't usually talk about my personal life too much, just because that's that little, like, I share everything except for, like, my little private life, because it's kind of like my sacred space. But I will say, like, the bond that I have with my son is probably one of the strongest things I have in this world. And it's very sacred. It's very amazing. You know, I don't know who I'd be if I didn't have a bond like that. I'd be a different kind of person. Reynard, holy hell, you're 43. I thought you were in your early 30s. Yep. Nope. I am 43. Like I said, my mom looks pretty young too, and she's in her 60s, so it just happens. John Murphy says, same here. Energy, you're very talented. Your movements in your YouTube videos are often original. Good night. You have a good night too, Energy. And then Adrish says, do one of these again, Mr. Hill? Thank you. And thank you all. Thank you all for stopping by. This was an impromptu video. I honestly wasn't even sure if I'd get any responses or any people coming on, because I didn't announce this at all. I was just loaded with questions the whole time, so thank you. Thank you guys, because I had nothing else to do and I wanted to contribute. I wanted to do something good. So thank you all. Keep spinning your nunchucks. If you have any more questions, kenhillfire@gmail.com. Send me a video. Like I said, if you're not afraid of me putting it up on the YouTube channel. I'm also thinking about doing some live streams that include Zoom. I don't know if you guys were around when I did that Zoom to video, but it was really fun, right? Or Zoom to audio. Like I played music. We had probably up to about 12 to 15 people that were just spinning their props while we were just jamming to music. I'd like to do that, and I also want to start doing maybe even some Zoom competitions. I think would be fun just in the spirit of fun, where we're spinning and I'll come up with challenges for you guys to do while we're all live spinning together. I think that would be really fun too. So I hope you guys all have a great day. And thanks again for tuning in. We've got things coming around the corner, but if you have any more questions, kenhillfire@gmail.com. Happy to hear from y'all. All right, have a